Okay, so what we hear all the time when we travel is that, oh, I wish I could do that too. But what I think that translates to is, oh, I wish I could afford that too.
For sure. So people think all the time that like we are taking these extravagant trips that cost like thousands of dollars, which is so far from the truth. Like, believe me, if these trips were costing thousands of dollars, we would not be taking these trips like at all. So a trip from the US to Australia, I think, is like kind of a bucket list item for a lot of people. It was for us like not very long ago, and now we're here. And people probably think they put it on their bucket list because they think it's going to be like $2,000, $3,000 to fly the family over, like just for airfare, and then you're going to have to pay for hotels and everything else. Yeah. And it's suddenly becoming like a $4,000, $5,000 trip, right?
You guys, it's not like that at all. Get
sure.
ready to have your minds blown, because we flew our whole family, 4 people, to Australia for $265.
For real though.
Yeah, for real.
And 88 cents.
And we're about to show you how we did that.
So stay tuned. I'm going to get really down and dirty in the weeds and show you the really, really simple way. I was going to say like, I'll show you all the crazy techniques. No, I'm going to show you the really simple way that we both kind of leveraged this one little trick to get enough points to fly the whole family down. So
yeah, so make sure you watch, like this video, share it with your friends who want to travel too, and make sure you subscribe to our channel, because we're gonna have so many tips coming your way for traveling with your whole entire family.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
The tip, because it's a travel tip. The travel tip of the iceberg. There's way more stuff that we can cover, and tricks that we've used in the last month or two for our own travel. So yeah. Stay tuned.
Enjoy the video.
Okay guys, so here is the landing page for the British Airways Chase credit card. You can see the offer here is up to 100,000 Avios, which is a nice solid bonus. Avios is just the term that British Airways uses for their miles or points or whatever you want to call them. So you can see the fine print here: earn 50,000 bonus Avios after you spend 3,000 on purchases within the first 3 months. That's actually a pretty standard offer. 2,000 to 3,000 over the first 3 months is what you'll see on a lot of credit cards. And then it says you can earn an additional 50,000 bonus Avios after you spend 20,000 total on purchases within your first year. So the main offer is 50,000 points for 3,000 in 3 months. So that's 1,000 a month, which is pretty doable. I mean, if you're doing groceries, if you're putting car insurance, if you're, putting your basic costs on the credit card, that's a pretty easy number to hit. This offer actually used to be a little bit better. It was 50,000 for the first 3,000 spent in the first 3 months. And then if you hit 10,000 total on purchases within the first year, it would give you 25,000. So that would get you up to 75,000. And then if you hit 20,000 total, you'd get 100,000 Avios. So still the same kind of like max number, but you could get up to 75,000 without having to spend 20,000 over the course of a year. 20,000 is a pretty good number. I mean, that's almost 2,000 a month. So this is going to be basically your main credit card for most of that year. That's what they're trying to accomplish, is really turn this card into the main card. So with 50,000 Avios, you can definitely take a one-way trip from the US to Europe. And then with 100,000, that could easily be a round trip with some to spare. The flights that I've seen are about 60,000, so a little bit more than this, to get from the US to Australia and vice versa, but I'll show you that in a sec. So anyway, here's the card that we used for this particular trip. It's a pretty decent card. I'll show you some of kind of the benefits and some of the limitations. Another thing that it offers, as you kind of scroll down and see some of the bonus stuff, no foreign transaction fees. That's actually a really nice thing to have if you're going to travel internationally. Have a card that won't charge you fees as you're spending. But this travel together ticket, if you make it past that 20,000 mark in the first year, and you spend basically $2,500 a month or so every single month, and you reach 30,000, they'll actually give you basically a companion pass is what this is. So the travel together ticket, a little bit more information on that. It says it gives you a second seat for a companion on the same flight and in the same cabin when you book a reward flight on British Airways, originating in and returning to the US. So it sounds like that's going to be a round trip flight. So this is going to be like a free round trip ticket, which is pretty sweet. So anyway, you'll have obviously your 100,000 points because you've spent more than 20,000, and then if you hit the 30,000 mark, now you get another free ticket to go with it. So if you have a lot of costs that you're able to put on a credit card, this is one to consider because that's essentially another round trip flight that you're getting for free, which is pretty crazy. So there are some cool things about this. British Airways, we've had really good experiences on their flights. But this is a look at the card and kind of what comes with it. So we're going to be here in Australia. Well, we might be a couple other places, spoiler alert. But for now, we're in Australia. We're in a city called Brisbane. And so we're going to be out of the country until late April. So I looked up some flights. I found one on April 28th that'll bring us back. That's kind of right when we're trying to get back into the US. So we're going to look up the details of this flight. And we're going to see, what the offer is here. So this is a one-way flight that we're booking. We booked a flight to get here originally, and this is just going to be looking at the flight back because we really didn't have hard set dates. We just kind of wanted to see what was available, and we were willing to work around it. So we're going to check on this flight. So you can see there's several flights on the 28th. They're all flying out of Brisbane using Qantas, which is an Australian airline that partners with American and with British. You can see the second leg from LAX to Las Vegas is American. So this one's 16 hours of total journey time, a flight from Australia to LAX that gets in at 6 a.m. and then it leaves 2.5 hours later, and it's just a quick flight to Las Vegas. So that's great. That one leaves at 10 a.m. So you can see it looks like all these flights leave Australia at the same time, and then it's just if you want to hang out in LA for a few hours or if you don't. So I'm going to choose the one that has the quickest turnaround, and we'll see what that turns into for us. So the price here is 60,000 AVOs. That's pretty common. That's what I've seen for flights from Australia and to Australia from the US. And then it comes with a $120 fee. So that's a little bit high. British does tend to have a little bit higher fees since they are a British airline. Obviously, like they're an England-based carrier. They go off the British pound, and the British pound is stronger than the US dollar. So I expect these dollar figures to be a little higher. But honestly, for a flight to Australia, that's pretty cheap. And if you times that by 4, that's still only $482. So $482 for a family of 4 is pretty good to get to Australia or back from Australia. Those tickets can be quite a lot more, and I'll actually show you that in a sec. But anyway, if you go ahead and continue and you find out some more details about this flight, you'll see it actually comes with a couple of meals. They allow you to, this is just saying that I'm short on AVOS, which is fine because I use AVOS to get to Australia. So the AVOS is 60,000. The price that you have to pay in cash is 120 to cover fees and stuff like that. Baggage allowance. Each adult, young adult, and child that has a ticket is allowed 2 checked bags, which is awesome. We only checked 2 bags total on our way here. We each had a carry-on as well as a backpack. But this is great. I mean, this is like awesome. We just didn't have a car to throw 8 bags in, so we didn't use that, but that's pretty cool. And then you can see from LAX to Las Vegas, you still get the 2 bags at 51 pounds, which is great. So anyway, this is a solid flight. It's just telling us more information down there. So if you go ahead and book that, that's what you can expect. Another thing that's cool about British Airways flights, and a reason that we really wanted these, British Airways Avios, and a reason that we wanted these points was that internationally, these points can be used for other things. So hotels and cars that you can't use certain other points for. Like we had trouble getting a rental car when we went to Iceland because we didn't have points that we could use that were going to allow us to do that internationally. The British Airways points, the Avios, do allow us to do that. So I'm going to actually check this out. We're going to be going to the Australian Zoo later this week. So if I said Friday morning at 9, and then Saturday if we brought it back at 9, let's see let's see what options they have here. So we'll go ahead and find cars, and we'll see what this says. So this is just another way that these points can come in handy. Again, you can definitely use these points to book hotels as well. They're pretty flexible, which is awesome. And you won't be looking at the same fees as you're looking at for the airlines. When you're booking a car or a hotel, as long as you have enough points to cover the charge for that booking, you're not going to see any like dollar charges on top of that, which is awesome. So we'll see. This is taking a little time. In the meantime, I'm going to show you kind of how, you saw American partners with British. I just wanted to kind of, for kicks and giggles, look at this. So we'll do Brisbane again to Las Vegas. We'll do one way, and we will choose April 28th. And you can kind of see the difference between some of the point values. And these points, they don't transfer back and forth. So if you see a number here, it's not like equivalent to the same number of points on British. It's a different system, and the points get earned differently. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what this looks like. If you book via American instead of British, you're going to be paying $84. And if I remember right, it was $120 for the British flight. And the points, like I said, are different. There's different ways to earn and different ways to redeem. But this is what you're going to be looking at. Okay, so really quick, one other thing I wanted to check is what the cash price would be for this flight. So Brisbane to LAS. Let's make sure that it is a one-way, and then we will select our date. If you're not familiar with Google Flights, flights.google.com, this is like an absolute must for checking flights. It's just such an easy way to see over time what flights look like. You can kind of plan your trips that way, stuff like that. So I think this is, I think these are all listed in Australian dollars. So we're going to change to US dollar real quick so that we can see. Okay, so there's actually a flight here for $5.35, which is like really, really good. It stops in Sydney, it stops in Honolulu, which is cool if you were getting to spend some time there. But it looks like you wouldn't really. You'd just be there for like lunch, and then you'd have to get back on the plane. So anyway, that's a little bit longer of a trip, 22 hours with 2 stops. For $5.35, again, that's a really good price. This looks like the exact same flight that we were just looking at on British. So 10 a.m. and then it gets to Las Vegas at 9:42. So this is our exact same flight. Total price $650, which is actually like pretty decent. You can see right here it says $650 is low. It says they're $345 cheaper than usual. The least expensive flights for similar trips are usually $830 to $1550, which is like, yikes. We're over here talking about $120 being a lot to spend when you're using points. $650 is like a freaking bargain compared to $830 plus. So anyway, that's kind of what you're looking at for like a typical flight. And again, the price that we just saw here for the 22-hour trip with 2 stops, $535, that's really, really good. That's like so good. And $650 is really good too for the US to Australia. But then you start multiplying that by 2 or by 3 or by 4 if you want to try to bring a spouse or a family with you, bringing kids, and it's like, holy smokes, suddenly it turns into just this crazy expensive trip just to fly there. Whereas for, the same cash price, you could fly 4 or 5 people if you were redeeming points and then just paying the fees and stuff like that. 4 or 5 people's fees would only add up to like what this is. So anyway, you can just get so much bang for your buck using these points. So it's the best thing that you can do is have points from a few different places that partner up. So let's try that again. That was giving us some trouble. There we go. Okay, so this is if we wanted to rent a car here in Brisbane and just take it for a day to go up to the zoo and back. You can see it's only 8,300 avios, so that's really a small number compared to that 60,000 for the flight. It's just a really nice way to be able to use these points. So if we want a bigger car with like a hatchback, you know, to throw more gear in, we could. This is a compact. It looks like a 4-door with a little hatchback. So there's a bunch of little cars here that we could look at getting all the way up to, you know, it'll have like intermediate SUV, Mitsubishi Outlander or similar, 11,000 points or 11,000 avios. So that's just an easy way to use these points. But anyway, that's just a quick look and a quick breakdown of how those points get used and how it all works. So if you're interested, I mean, there's a $95 annual fee, so you're going to be paying the annual fee. But that's just kind of the secret behind how we're able to do some of these trips for, you know, without spending a lot of money. All it is you sign up for a credit card, you know, you use that for your purchases. Be smart about it, because obviously it's going to hurt your credit score if you're making poor decisions. But once you have, you know, met your spend, you get the points and you get to take the flights.
How easy was that?
So easy.
So easy. Good job, babe.
Thanks,
you did
Anne.
amazing. Okay, you guys, that was one of our tricks. So make sure you are subscribed to our channel, the Flyaway Fam, because we have a lot more coming at you. If you have any questions about this video on how you can fly for super cheap and use the points, make sure to comment below. We will be here to answer any questions.
And we'll have some information in the description. We'll link you to the British Airways Visa card so you can get one for yourself. And then we'll also share in future videos different ways to use points with other cards and other offers, as well as some ways to find cheap flights using cash.
Yes. Bye. Thank you for watching.
Talk to you soon.